So you know how some people say that they, smell a plate of cookies and they've already gained 10 pounds? Well, they're not technically wrong.
Hi guys, it's Michelle, the Insulin Empress, and this video of my personal experience will help you understand how just smelling food can affect your insulin levels and therefore your ability to burn fat and lose weight.
So you know how some people say that they, smell a plate of cookies and they've already gained 10 pounds? Well, they're not technically wrong, because when you smell food, it doesn't take fully ingesting food to provoke this cephalic stage of digestion, to provoke that first insulin response. So just smelling food, just seeing food, like just thinking about food enough to make your own mouth water can cause this stage of digestion to happen. And this happens with gum. When you're chewing gum, especially if it's sugar-free, you don't see the effect on your sugar level per se, but it will affect your insulin levels. Just the taste of the gum will tell your body to produce insulin and release insulin. And so when insulin goes up, fat burning goes down. So it's something important to keep in mind. This happened because when you smell food, that starts the cephalic stage of digestion. The cephalic stage of digestion is when you're smelling food or tasting food. It triggers your stomach acid levels and it triggers your insulin production. Everybody gets 2 insulin productions with every meal, a smaller one at the beginning and a larger one about an hour and a half in. So as soon as you smell food, you can trigger the cephalic stage of digestion, which includes insulin. When insulin goes up, not only does sugar levels go down, but also fat burning goes down, because insulin stops fat burning. So that's what's happening here. So the reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because this happened to me today when I was on my way to a stop. I didn't cook for myself today, so I stopped by McDonald's to get 5 quarter-pounder patties, which is a usual thing for me when I don't get a chance to cook. This is a very good, fast option for food. And so I got 5 quarter-pounder patties, and it was another 20 minutes until I got to the stop. And so I couldn't have my lunch until after the stop. So for 20 minutes, that meat rode alongside me, smelling absolutely amazing. And I had just been fasting for about 20 hours, so I was definitely very hungry. And the smell of that food triggered the cephalic stage of digestion. This is when you get all the enzymes are starting to go. Your stomach acid, your salivary glands are starting to produce, your insulin starts to go up. All these different things start with either the taste of food or the smell of food or the deep thought of food. Like if you can make your mouth water, if you can think about something so much that it makes your mouth water, it's enough to trigger. If you can get the saliva going, then you can get all the other stuff going. So this happened to me today. So this was my sugar levels around 118. That's about the usual time that I check my sugar, my ketones, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Because anytime after that, whenever I'm available to, I can start to eat. I drive for a living, so my lunchtime is not always the same. I have to take my lunch by a certain time, but when I actually take it sometimes changes. So after 1 o'clock, then I'm free to take my lunch. But so I'll take my sugar levels and my ketone levels to check to see where I'm at. And my ketones were at 0.5, which are not super fantastic, but for me, they're pretty good. And then when I was getting ready to sit down and eat, after spending 20 minutes with those hamburger patties in the car next to me, my ketones had dropped to 0.2 and my sugars has dropped, a good 10 points or so. And so that is basically proof that when you are around food, it can trigger that cephalic stage insulin release, which can cause your sugar levels to drop a little bit and your fat burning to also stop. When insulin climbs up, ketones come down. Insulin absolutely stops all fat burning. That's just how it works. So my insulin climbed up just a little bit. That first cephalic stage of digestion is not a lot of insulin. It's just a little bit. But it is there, and it will make a little bit of difference. If you notice, if you have a CGM and you start eating, you'll start to see this just tiny little drop in your sugar levels before it starts to go up. That's part of the cephalic stage of digestion. The first 20 minutes or so, you'll have a drop, and that's absolutely normal, totally normal. So I wanted to make it clear that when you start to drop, That's very normal, and it is not a sign that you're dying. A lot of people will freak out when they see that their sugar drops within the first half hour or so of them eating, and they're afraid that it's causing hypoglycemia, when it's not. It's just a normal part of your digestion. As long as it doesn't drop into the 50s, you're totally fine. And it also, I wanted to show how much we react, how much our body reacts to food, not just actual eating food, but the fact that we are around food all the time. We think about food. There's commercials constantly. Everywhere we look, there's food being advertised to us, and it is affecting us. Not on a big grand scale. You don't see an advertisement for a Big Mac and you fall over because your sugar levels dropped because your insulin levels went too high. That's not what's happening here. But the constant what do you call it? The constant exposure to food ads, to thoughts about eating, to food being just everywhere we are, it affects us. And so there's a lot of things we can't change. You can't tell people to not advertise. You can't, you can watch less TV. You can spend less time on the internet where you see ads. But the biggest thing that you can do is take care of your health, to reduce your insulin resistance, because there's already so many other offending things attacking, in a sense. So you can control the things that are in your control, your own diet, your own lifestyle. You can control those things, and so that way you minimize the damage of everything that's happening around you. So my name is Michelle. I am the Insulin Empress, and I thought I would share my experience with you guys. This is one of the best ways we learn, off of our own experiences, and I wanted to share my experience with you guys with the actual test levels, so you can see what's going on, and hopefully that helps you guys make more sense of what's going on in your body and what you guys are seeing on your own meters. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.